now.
All right. So I know y'all been waiting for a show to where you can just hear exactly what in the fuck is going on in the world today by two of the realest. Present to you now and going forward is the Daily Bread. My name is Ron, and also my other host is Adolphus. And
Yes.
and what we're about to bring to you is something very special. It's almost like we the NWO of podcast.
The NWO podcast.
So if you got your little badass kids up and they listening to us, guess what? I take no responsibilities.
None at all.
So it's about to go down in the realest of real ways. You're gonna learn something here too. So not only you gonna hear how we feel about life and how we perceive these things, you're gonna learn something. So we're gonna kick off this daily bread. And yeah, you can call this the gospel. You know why? Because this is gonna be the book of Ron and Adolphus. Let's get it started.
So, chapter one. I've been waiting to kick this shit off for a long time. What I wanted to talk about today is a debate that is so near and dear to me, being a person that was on the West Coast during the East Coast West Coast beef. Now, this in no way is intended for any disrespect for to Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G.
Biggie.
But my thing has always been this guy's like his career only spanned from 1992 to 1997. Of course, he had an untimely passing, but to me, he only put out one album before he died. The other one was finished. Life After Death was finished. But how can you consider someone the greatest of all time? I mean, I'm not saying he's on Mount Rushmore, but my concern has always been how do you consider a guy that doesn't have the credentials to be the greatest of all time? What are your thoughts on that, Ron? What are your thoughts? And I know you've listened to Biggie before, so what are your thoughts on this Biggie thing? And I got like several points I'm gonna make.
I think that the notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls. I do think he's a goat. I think he's the GOAT. Not because he died. Like I hate that shit. So let me put that disclaimer out there. Is people that'll put somebody as the GOAT soon they get killed or you know what I'm saying? Like, nah. It's I call him the GOAT because of his the way he can rhyme. You know, he can say some things. He can say some shit that just make you say, what did this motherfucker just say? Girl, you so fine. I'll suck your daddy. I'm like, whoa. That was a pause moment for him. But you know what, though? I think Biggie was ahead of his time at such a young age. We never got to see him blossom to being
Okay, now let me pause you right there because I just want to point out that you're saying he is the goat or a goat.
he's a goat.
Okay,
He's a goat. I feel like he can rap fast. He can rap slow. You heard him rap with Bone Thugs. You heard him rap with goddamn some of the like Big L's. You didn't heard him do freestyle ciphers like online. It's just like whatever you heard him do, he did it well. Like and for somebody who had such a short career, the Junior Mafia thing, like Lil Kim, C's, you know, some of them, well, you know, Kim thrived after he died, but I think they fed off of that man's energy. Like I think Bad Boy nothing without Biggie. Like you know, so I don't care who Puff Daddy may have put his name behind. Biggie Smalls really did, you know, cultivate a whole culture of artists. Even my favorite rapper, the GOAT himself, Jay Z. I feel like, you know, he made Jay Z up his game. That Biggie Smalls the GOAT, man. Like one of the GOATs, like, you know, for such a short career. Two
okay,
albums and such a great career to me.
all right. I give you that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make just a general statement here. So we're saying it doesn't matter how long his career spanned. The fact that he had two great albums, you're giving him the title as a goat. My
I'm giving
question,
him, yeah, I'm definitely giving him a title as one of the GOATs. That's correct.
my question to you is: do we say the same thing about Bo Jackson? He had a couple of outstanding years, had all of the physical measurables, Unfortunately, it wasn't his fault. His career ended, similar to Biggie's, out of nowhere. Do you
Mm-hmm.
consider him a GOAT as well?
I do. I actually do. Bo Jackson was something huge in my career as a youngster watching him. He made me think I could play every damn sport I go step my little ass on to and to go
But,
play.
but
Like
in his
watching
craft,
Bo Jackson was a great outfielder. He hit home runs. This motherfucker then he'll go run the ball for the Oakland Raiders and goddamn and did it well. Like and I do call Bo Jackson a GOAT as well. You know, they put Terrell Davis in the Hall of Fame, but I feel like Terrell Davis wasn't even close to being a GOAT as Bo Jackson.
but he
Even
had
though
the rings, he had more yards. And my thing is,
but I still felt like Bo Jackson was way better than Terrell Davis. So I
okay, I'm
do
gonna
feel
ask
like
you
Bo Jackson is a GOAT as well in my book.
now. I'm gonna ask you another question because, and of course, I don't wish this upon anyone, but this is just hypothetical. I don't know about how you may or may not like Kendrick Lamar, but he's gotten a lot of buzz on 3 albums, couple mixtapes. If he died tomorrow, is he a GOAT?
If Kendrick died today, is he a GOAT? I never thought about this till today, and shockingly, I'm gonna say no.
To me, he's done as much, if not more, than Biggie. Here's my thing with Biggie. When I was younger, I liked a lot of his work, especially on Ready to Die. Liked a lot of the singles that came out. Give Me One More Chance, Big Papa. Those were all anthems. Bad Boy was a big the new group. They were the NWO that came out in all black. They were having fun, partying, women, but I could never consider this man the GOAT. And that's my problem with some people that I've met from Northeast regions or the East Coast. They'll automatically say he's the GOAT. And
No,
another
he
and
I won't
another
call him that.
and another point I'd like to make is I was actually just reviewing some stuff the other day. I believe I was on Complex Magazine or one of these websites like that. And I seen someone with a very valid point. They were saying, well, with everyone saying Biggie's a GOAT, why not say Big Pun's a GOAT? He had the 2 albums too, nominated for a Grammy, had great hit singles. He could rap his behind off, had a group in Terror Squad that, well, Fat Joe took off once he passed. But why can't we call Big Pun a GOAT? I mean, he could rap too with the best of them, had a lot of
Uh,
skills.
I can tell you why. First off, when Biggie came out, you gotta think about Biggie had to make a top album around. You still had the Tribe Called Quest dropping out. You still had Nas at the height of his career. You had Busta Rhymes about to come onto the scene. You had Jay-Z trying to come up. You had the Wu-Tang Clan. You had so many great artists around this particular time. AZ. You had goddamn like you gotta think about all the people that was coming up around these times that when Biggie was coming up. Yes, Big Pun was in that era too. Now, tell me how many songs actually was like known like that. I know Big Pun for the songs he did with Joe. I know him for the deep cover freestyle that he did, which in a little Italy but diddly diddly that shit was hard. Like I think Big Pun can rap his ass off. I felt like short as soon as he was starting to get his name out there. Biggie at least had the first album that dropped and that had so many songs like that just lasted for a while. One More Chance, Juicy, like Big Papa, you know what I'm saying? Warning, like you gotta think
Songs
about
with
all
no
these songs.
substance, but okay.
Come on now, come on.
What? I'm gonna give it to you straight because that's how I do. They didn't have
That
any substance. They were good, popular songs and samples, but I can't give the man greatest of all time. He had 1 album out. He died. He disappeared. God rest his soul, but I cannot consider him the greatest of all time. I can't even really consider him the greatest New Yorker of all time, the greatest from New York, from the East Coast of all time. And I'm just going to pull a couple of stats here that I got to the side. Once again, no respect to the people's GOAT. Jay-Z is 15 albums in.
Mm-hmm.
15 plus albums in.
Mm-hmm.
And you have people that will not even include him in their top 5 to make room for Biggie. That doesn't make sense to me. Nas has over 10 albums in, 2 to 3 classic albums. A
Let's stop right
song
there.
that, go ahead.
Nas has been alive all this time, and Nas is do he only has maybe what 3, 4 tops good albums out of 10. That's not good, bro.
I
Like
mean, you
that.
can't hit a home run every time.
But I'm just telling you, man. Biggie career was cut short, so we didn't get a chance to see him to continue to grow.
But what classic
But
album did Biggie
but
have?
the very first one. That's all. That's all you need.
Are
That
you
album.
sure that's a classic though?
That is a classic. That is a classic.
I don't know. I think if I want to say that
if I bust up in a room with some 1980s babies, some late 70s babies, and maybe a couple of early 90s kids, and I put on that, the room goes
because it was a
crazy every
sample.
time.
Go ahead. It was
It's
a
not
sample.
because it's a sample.
Yes,
And everybody,
it is.
if matter of fact, let me tell you how crucial Biggie was. You can say every time somebody say this one word out their mouth, the first thing come to your mind. If you hear somebody say first thing come to your mind. I pop freaks all the honeys. Come on, bro. Let's be real. Biggie has them quotable lines. Biggie had swagger. He was the first to, he had that swagger. He ain't copying no damn Tupac. He had his own swagger with the little Versace, the little cane, and all that shit.
Yeah, I never, and I ain't even want to say the name of Tupac because that's my greatest of all time.
And I'm gonna go there with you on him too in a minute, but
nah, because you ain't finna, because I can come with it on the Pac because he darn sure he ain't sniffing Pac in no way.
You crazy as hell, Biggie.
Yeah, I might be crazy, but Biggie, he ain't sniffing Pac. Biggie Smalls, like I said, he has one so maybe it's a classic. I have to look back at it. Did it get 5 mics? I'm not sure. If so, it could have been handed 5 mics because New York was struggling at the time. They didn't have nothing. They gave Bad Boy everything. Like I said, the album was good. It's not nothing I can go back to and listen to over and over again. I'll get a couple songs from it and then I just leave it be. Life After Death, it was pretty good too, but once again, I don't know if it's a classic. It may be bordering classic, but how can you sit there and compare this man to a freaking street disciple, to a poet like God's son Nas? Like it's no way. He has 3, maybe 4 classic albums. Jay-Z, I can't really name off the top of my head how many classic albums, but he has a huge catalog of work, and you have people that will put artists such as Eminem, Biggie Smalls, and Big L ahead of him on their top 5. It's disrespectful.
Nigga, I would not put Big L ahead of no damn none of them.
I mean, well, you do. You do have also, people that do.
But also, tell me this: since you threw Tupac name out there, please tell me you was like you tell me which Tupac albums that you were so into. Aside from you got to exclude Machiavelli and All Eyes on Me. Aside from them 2 albums, what other albums of his that people just going crazy about? I know he got the song "I Get Around" on what albums that for my niggas. I Get
Around was strictly for my. Now that might have been on Tupacalypse. No, that was on strictly for my niggas. Brenda's For My Baby was on Tupacalypse. Now Me Against the World, that was the album that really. I mean, I had heard of Tupac before. My dad was a big Digital Underground fan. And my mom's a huge
Digital
Tupac fan.
Shout out to Digital Underground.
Yeah, shout out to Digital Underground and Shock G. So I had been hearing of him ever since he first came out. My mom's a huge Tupac fan.
Me too. But the thing is,
Thug Life, I Can Let Ride.
You can't sit here and say Biggie cannot sniff his underwear. You crazy as hell though. Like
I'm just saying, the reason being is because Tupac has the body of work, and that's what I wanted to see from Biggie. Like, you give me one. You say it's a classic. I say it might be semi-classic album. You're giving me that?
No, that's a classic album. That's a classic.
It may or I think that's a debatable thing.
Life After Death is a classic album. So
I mean, Life After Death is not a classic. You're being an East Coast nigga now. You got an East Coast bias.
Hold on, no. But see, here's the thing. Here's the kicker. See, here's the part that you gotta know. You couldn't have told me I was not Tupac when I was a kid. But me being an honest person about hip hop, man, Biggie Smalls is definitely one of the goats. You put Biggie and Tupac right up there beside each other. They are
No, you can't. You
both
can't
great
put. He
artists.
doesn't
And
have
see,
the
it no,
catalog, the
but
body
see,
of work.
here's the thing. I don't hold it across Tupac because he don't do metaphors and similes. He's a poet. He tells stories. Like
Okay, you
that's the
can't
thing.
put Emmett Smith and Bo Jackson in the same category.
You
That's my
can't put
view on those two.
you can't put Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton in the same category.
Yes, you can because they
No,
both
you
have the
can't.
body of work.
No, no,
That's what it's about to me. The body of work.
no. You
Show
put
me where this
you
man.
you can't put him in the same category as Jim Brown either. So that's how I'm looking at it. Like that's how I'm rocking.
They
Like,
all have the body of work.
mm.
Biggie Smalls does not have the body of work, man.
But
I can't.
because he didn't drop albums like Pac did or write all these
He was
crazy
out
albums.
5 years. 5 years. He gave us one album and one that was done. So two albums.
You do
5 years.
understand in them times nobody dropped the gang of albums like that.
Like I said, he doesn't have the body of work.
No, man.
Tupac, like I said, you asked me excluding the ones that were obviously hits, and
Well,
I
you
give you
know what? You
Machiavelli,
know
he
what? You know
dead.
what? He do got the body work. I can add another album to it, the Junior Mafia album. How
That
about
doesn't
that?
count. That's a group
It,
album. Even though I
it
pulled
doesn't
out
matter.
Thug Life, that's still a group album.
Hey, man.
So you take those three albums, and that's his body of work. You're building this man a crutch.
No, I'm not building man a crutch, man.
Like I said,
You
he's a great artist.
have you really listened to what this man be saying?
I've listened to what he's saying, but I'm saying if we're looking for the greatest of all time, I don't like to do he's a goat, she's a goat, they're a goat, he a
I
goat.
don't give everybody goats though. That's the thing.
I don't.
I
He
don't give
is he is
everybody
a
a
top
goat, but Biggie
10
is a goat.
fringe 7 rapper of all time. He's nowhere near Tupac, Nas, and Jay-Z at this point. I think Jay-Z, even though he bit his rhymes a couple times, has surpassed him at this point due to body of work. And there's an album that's coming out soon, and we'll see just how good it is. But I just truly think that we're giving Biggie just a little bit too much credit on just my point.
He deserved that credit, man. Big deserve every bit of credit. And honestly, man, if that man could wake up today and went straight to a microphone, he'll kill any rapper right now with his
No,
wordplay.
I don't think so either. But you
With
know
his
what?
wordplay, yes, he can. I don't care what kind of beat you put him on. I don't care what. Like Biggie can rap on anything and kill that shit.
But he rapped on a bunch of samples.
That's what was in. It doesn't matter.
That's just what he could do.
Okay.
Like
You want to know something else? Kendrick Lamar rap on a bunch of samples.
man, Kendrick Lamar is a better rapper than he is, in my opinion, at this point right now.
Big is the blueprint, man. Big is
No.
the blueprint, man. What you think? Like, if you ask Kendrick now, I bet you he'll say he listens to a lot of Biggie.
I bet you he'll say he listens to a lot of Pac.
If you ask Eminem, he listens to a lot of Biggie.
I don't consider Eminem as a GOAT because he's white and he gets a lot of stuff from that. And I can't relate to his music.
I don't put him in the GOAT category because I don't relate to killing my mom or taking goddamn drugs and all this other crazy.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't take Xans or ecstasy or
but
whatever he was doing.
His lyricism, the way he can put together them words and shit is next to none. I'll give him that.
It's next to none, but like I said, I think he'd be in my top 10. But he's another person who I think they look at album sales, which he benefited from white culture to get him over the top.
Okay. And you know what? Biggie didn't have none of that. And you know what? Biggie goddamn faded a whole goddamn culture of people, man. Like, and he ain't even here no more. It's people that'll go listen to old Biggie shit just to goddamn get a clue on what to do in this rap shit. Biggie is the man.
Well, we'll see. It sounds like you're probably hunting deers or something right now because obviously you're out of your mind. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and segue this to the next topic, the main topic of why we join forces today. Hallelujah.
Well, because Faith had twins, she probably had 2 Pacs. Get it? 2.
Yeah, I get you.
That's a Biggie line for you. Had to throw that in there. So,
I got you. That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. So talk about. So the next thing, speaking of fucking bitches and all that. So this was an interesting post that I seen from a young lady by the name of Jasmine Perez. Was basically talking about pornography and relationships. And I gathered some information from just some general people that I know because I kind of wanted to just kind of get a gist of what was going on or the flavor of the month. Some people kind of felt like, okay, in a sense that it's not as bad and, they're willing to let their significant other do it because it keeps you at home and you're not out doing whatever. Some people was like, no, you're married. I'm not doing it anymore. You need to step away. So I did want to get your thoughts on that, on pornography and it ruining relationships. What are your thoughts?
I don't think it's ruining people's relationships, man. I think what's ruining relationships is one of the other person in that particular relationship just don't have that desire for their partner. And the pornography, if it's a person that's going to their computer, going to the spank bank, as the white boys call it. Shout out to all the white boys that say that shit. If they go onto the computer doing that, I think they would, a male or a female would probably much rather have their partner do that than goddamn go to somebody's house and be trying to, blow somebody back out in live in HD. So I don't think it's on with it. If that's what they do, that's how they get off, and that's what make them stay at the house and not creep. I don't call that cheating. You know what I'm saying? I'm not religious, so I'm not into the whole other aspect of it. You're fornicating and all that shit. That bad of a thing. If that's what they do, they're not cheating. They're not seeing someone else. They're seeing the computer. They're seeing a napkin. They're seeing some lotion. That's what they're really seeing.
Well, let's put this into perspective because what I don't want to do, to me, it's just as similar, and I don't know what you do in your private life, but to me, with a significant other, I couldn't be married living with a person and they're sneaking off to pleasure themselves. To me, that just seems like a little odd. And I would actually think that that could be a gateway to you desiring something else because it's like this person's there for you, and I mean, I know you can't obviously have sex or do sexual acts all the time, but it, like, to me, I do think that that does open Pandora's box a little bit. I mean, I don't have a heaven or hell to put anybody in, definitely not going to say that. So it's not even about that, but just from a relationship standpoint, let's say if, my girl, she looks at Lexington Steel or I don't know, the Mr. Marcus.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marcus Sniffles. But she looks at one of these guys or whatever. Clearly, I don't look anything like these guys. She's getting all hot and bothered by these guys. Then what is that sending a message to me or me if I'm looking at a Pinky or if I'm looking at India from back in the day or Superhead or whomever's out there? Then what does that tell me about my love for my woman? If I'm out here, I have to look at somebody completely different from what I have and then maybe think of them while pleasing myself?
I think if it's at that point, instead of pointing the finger or getting upset, I think a conversation would just have to be had. And maybe you need to watch with her, you know what I'm saying? Or spice it up in the bedroom or something like that. I'm glad I don't have these problems, but for the people that do, I feel like instead of like just calling it quits or thinking that she's into someone else, or if it's a man, he into someone else, try to, if that's what you were married, I mean, it's for better, for worse. And I guess that's some of the worst times. So I guess you need to try to figure out how to, spice things up to maybe get your partner away from the computer screen as much and get them more happy about what's going on at home. Or maybe you might, if it's one in a relationship, I see where white people out here that do the scheduled sex and all that shit. If that's what you're doing, maybe you need to stop putting all the rule books on the pussy or on the dingling. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some guys out there putting schedules on their penises or whatnot. Down, loosen up, and have more freedom at home with what you're doing. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and let's start doing that. You need to start getting it in the bedroom and have more fun, be loose and uptight, and maybe that will get your partner away from the computer
No,
screen.
but
But
what
it's
about
not
they
cheap.
still do this and you do all that? I mean, it's like I had a conversation with a woman yesterday, and she was saying that her guy, that's just what he likes to do. They have sex multiple times a week, sometimes a couple times a day, and he still likes to watch it. That's just
Well, he
something that
just
he likes to do.
well, I think that motherfucker there just got a problem.
It could be, but like I said, it could be people out there that do that. And it's like, well, what are you supposed to tell them? You're in a relationship with this person. To me, I just look at it like you're opening up Pandora's box. If you and I presented the question in another way. I was saying, okay, so let's say if you're a person that masturbates to pictures or whatever, then pictures of porn stars. What's the difference between you go from porn to amateur to voyeurism, POV, all that? What's the difference in you just watching random people, sex tapes, or looking at explicit pictures? You kind of get what I'm saying with the Pandora's box thing? Like,
Yeah, that I get that, but how can I say it? You can open Pandora's box for damn near anything. It could be with sex, it could be with food, it could be with goddamn marijuana or any type of drugs, alcohol. It's just how to control themselves. And if it's a person that is that bad with it, they have a problem themselves. They need to probably, they need to step away from the computer. Maybe they can't handle just looking at something every now and then, or trying to keep it to a minimum. If they're going that hard with it, then yeah, they probably have a problem. But I don't think everybody that looks at it has the same problem.
yeah, and like I said, this ain't an indictment on everybody, because I know, some people could just do it on occasion. You never know. Some people, this could be just what they're used to. But if someone says they have a problem with it, then I can kind of see how, because it can be, you can let it get to be too much. Like if you're talking about looking at that type of stuff every day, once again, I'm not going to condemn anybody that does that. But what type of signals are you sending to your significant other? I mean, I can see if it was a long distance relationship, but if it's not, then it's kind of like, maybe, I don't know. Like maybe we should work on time together if you're with one another, as opposed to, you sitting and being nasty or doing whatever and watching porn.
Yeah, or maybe they just need to go ahead and just spice that thing on up, or just kind of be accepting of who their significant other is. If they're not cheating, if they haven't upgraded to like really going out there and messing with somebody for real. I mean, if it's not harming you, if you never had a problem with that person watching the porn, and let them watch the porn. But if they are getting to a point where it is a little sickening, then you probably need to seek some type of counseling with your sick ass. You just really can't just throw people away and say that your relationship is done if they got a problem. Sometimes you got to work with people. It's not like it's something that's really gonna really damage you if they haven't really went out there and did nothing else aside from watching something on the telephone or computer screen.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe they do need to check themselves before they wreck themselves.
Yeah, before you be around this motherfucker, you ain't gonna know what to do in the bedroom because you done jerked off too many that damn times. You in this bitch with the damn swole right arm and shit, your left arm looking all weak.
Yeah, got the
Right.
carpal tunnel, or if you're a girl, you've been stringing that guitar a little bit too much. But
Yeah, got that shower head stuck.
oh Lord. On that note, we're gonna go ahead and say our goodbyes, close this chapter 1 up for the day. So any final thoughts, Mr. Ron?
Porn is good all the time. All the
All the
time,
time,
porn is
porn is
good.
good. I would
uh,
just like to give a shout out. Of course, I am. Of course, you guys can follow us at Daily Bread Cult on Twitter. We're also on Daily Bread Cult with IG. Look out for the website coming soon. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to the guys over at the Committee Podcast. You can follow us at Committee Pod. I am Adolphus _Savage on all major social medias, just without the E on Facebook. Signing out. Y'all get your prayers up.
you